Steve French is the Montessori director at the Montessori Adolescent Program at Templestowe College. Steve has been in that role from the start, and that program is now in its fourth year. And the presentation that Steve is going to give tonight is a presentation that was given live at Plenty Valley Montessori School earlier in the year, and we hope you find it informative and enjoyable. Thanks, Steve.
That's quite all right. I hope you find it something like the presentation that I gave, because I arranged all these pictures and then spoke for them, so I'm not sure if I'm going to say anything like the same thing. Oh, that's right, I forgot it was on automatic cycle. Because the first thing I wanted to do, and I have been asked to do, but it's really important to me, and I think everyone connected with Montessori secondary education here in Victoria, is to thank Victoria, to say that, look, I wouldn't have this job, I wouldn't be teaching these marvellous children, I wouldn't be part of these families. These kids wouldn't be where they are without the effort that Victoria has put in. So 5 years as president, it's absolutely marvellous, and yeah, there's no words grateful enough to say what a job she has done for us. So thank you, Victoria.
Oh, thank you, Steve. It's lovely. But it has been an absolute privilege. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so where am I going? I'm going back here. Now, what I wanted to talk to people about was the point of continuing into adolescence. We have so many preschools, and then we have a bit of a drop-off, and then we have quite a lot of primary schools, and then we have a huge drop-off. And I think it's very unfortunate, because if you've put this effort into your Montessori education so far, I'm going to show you some of the reasons, and you can see them on the screen, to continue. Dr. Montessori said it's all about self-construction. These are young people building themselves to become adults. And this self-construction is their greatest work. They're finding out who they are, where they fit, what others think about them, what they think about others. They're moving from, we've seen them learning about the universe, studying the huge world. Now they're turning that all around to look at themselves. They're undergoing the greatest change since cycle one. Their brain is expanding, changing at a phenomenal rate daily. And apart from the years 0 to 3, the years 12 to 15 are the biggest experience that any of us goes through. We need to help them build their self-esteem. We don't build it. We're all about being there to support them. And sometimes those who seem like they haven't, those who have the bravado, the confidence, the front, we need to look deeper. We need to go, okay, is this a front? Is this hiding something? What's underneath? Think about these people, learn about these people, believe in these people, because that's who they are. Dr. Montessori said, show me the child, I will show you the adult. And that's what we're trying to do. We need to provide opportunities for personal learning needs. We have a class at the moment, TC, of 29 kids. I'm not going in there teaching a class. I'm going in there and teaching 29 individuals. It's tough with that size, and we'll be in a better state next year with 2 classes, but it's all about the individual, the person, and what we can provide for them. And we try to help them understand who they are, what they can do. Each of them's got different strengths, each has got different challenges. One of the glories is having that 3-year mix so that they can reach those challenges, those heights at the moment that is most suitable for them. They need to be trained, to be given the opportunity to train themselves in taking responsibility. It is not a natural task or a natural outcome for an adolescent. The adolescent brain is undergoing incredible changes. There are 30,000 synapses, I believe, every minute that are dying and regenerating. And the ones they don't use so much are not regenerating. The ones that they feel are important to them are, and that's strengthening the directions that they use and that they believe in. So if we can guide them and give them the chance to find strong, powerful directions that are important to them to go in, stuck back, then that brain can form in a way that is just perfect for that individual. Now we can set deadlines, we can ask them to do this, do that, we can say we want it to be this, but it is them who delivers. And it's them who enjoys it. It's them who finds creative, unusual, different ways to do it. And that creativity comes in many forms. As shown here by Natasha's hairpiece. I must admit putting the fork in myself. But it was looking pretty creative by then. But that creativity, it should be present all the time. It's not just for art class, it's not just for craft time. We should be giving them the opportunity constantly to be able to create, to be able to find out what it is within them that they want to bring out. Because there is so much, and it's all for them now, all in adolescence, about them bringing this out and showing it to the world and finding out where they fit in the world. And I'm sitting there in front of my computer using my hands to gesture all of this, and I can't see any of it, which is quite strange because the kids comment on how much I use my hands. But that creativity, it's important in maths, in occupations, as much as it is in art or anywhere else. It's to help build them. Because, should I hit that button? That one. Come on. Talk to me. There we go. And we have to take it to them. Are they ready? Are they prepared to self-construct? Are they prepared to develop and become who they are? What can they do to get that ready? And they shouldn't wait for others to do it. They should not be asking me to do it. And it is so exciting when you see them doing it. And most of the time they don't know. They don't know they're up to it. They don't know how much they're growing. And it's glorious to sit back and watch it happen. Give them the opportunity, and it'd be lovely to say 100% of the time they do it. But reality is probably closer. We would love maybe 60% of the time they're doing it. But when you see it, it is just so exciting. One thing that we really concentrate on, and that many others, even in our school, find it odd, is that we look constantly at joy and well-being, and we report on joy and well-being. It is such an important thing. If a student is not enjoying themselves, is not involved and engaged, are they learning? Are they finding things that are important to them? No, the state of mind is exciting. This guy in the lake, he is having a great time. He is learning, he's developing, he's growing. Let them grow their own food. At the start of the year, 3 year 7 students just come in, they've been in the class 3 weeks, they had to cook for 30 people. Cook lunch. No week. Yeah, wow, okay, yeah, let's do this. Oh, Okay, can we go down to the supermarket? Off they go by themselves, down the street, shop, bring it back. It wasn't the most nutritious meal I ever had, but they felt confident that they could deliver, that they could do it. And they do it without our interruptions, without our getting in there and doing things for them. We supply some structure, we allow them to develop their judgments, develop their ideas, build their skills, and believe that they can do it. These guys do incredible things and think it's normal. So we try and build a whole range of skills. We do a lot of dramatics. I personally have a real passion for drama and what it gives them. And the results we get in classes are phenomenal. It is very creative. You see things coming out of students that you may not have known about before. Often you have not known about. They get very used to talking in front of people. I have them speaking in public in the first week they're in school. We have them taking parts in debates where there are teams, and they work a lot in teams, but they do have responsibility not just for themselves, but onto other people. We get them using tools and equipment. They have to learn how to do it safely. We're after them gaining mastery, understanding. One of the tougher ones is organisation and recording. Trying to get them to keep track of things, to plan things, to go in order. No, don't want to rush at that. Don't want to do it. Don't want to get their hands dirty. And it is really hard to slow them down. Sometimes you feel cruel slowing them down, but you don't want them to fail. So you need to try and give them that support. And having come out the other end of the chain, we know that planning and organisation is important. And given that their brains are adapting, we want to keep plugging that one in there. So we have to help them for that. It's important here at the bottom to say, also give them time for discussion, debate and reflection. We don't have to pound learning in and in and in and in. Give them time to think about it. We have some of our best classes, classes they never write a word, where we discuss everyone's opinion is valued. But again, with the planning, the organisation, we're trying to teach them to research and analyse. And by teaching, once again, I mean guiding, giving them the opportunity, trying to demonstrate and model best practice, but not saying you have to do it this way. Because if you have to do it this way, have to, that doesn't drive adolescence, that makes them react. If you give them the opportunity and you demonstrate that you have high expectations of them, they will rise to meet it. I don't know if this pops up later in my slides, but Dr. Montessori was really keen that you don't congratulate students, you don't reward students for doing a good job, because that is what you expect them to do. And their reward is having done it. And I'm very keen on the bottom one here, always pushing them beyond their comfort zone. What can they learn? They already know how to do that. They can do more. And never do anything for your adolescent they can do for themselves. We want to get them to set goals, classically setting goals, personal goals, things that are meaningful to themselves. Not I have to be here by this day, but I want to improve at this. It should be real and relevant. This is where we diverge so much from the traditional standard classroom, mainstream. If I can't express to them why they have to learn something, why is this important to them, it's not worth learning. They need to know why this is important to them. Why am I going to learn this? Why am I going to do that? And if I can't explain that, I have to go, hey, this is me trying to do it. It's not my expectations that are important. It's theirs. Every experience they have should add to their learning. Everything they do should build something. Often they may not know it, they may not see it. But we provide them with a chance to do it. And Each lesson should have an application that, you know, as a guide, is going to help them later somewhere in their adult life. Head and hands working on the land. Dr. Montessori was so keen to have them working on the land, and I find it really important. Also, I grew up on a farm, so perhaps that helps, but we look strongly at sustainability, giving them personal experiences of recycling and growing and nurturing. For me, the working in the garden, the preparation, planting, nurturing the plant, bringing it to a point where you harvest, is an example for them of when they join the workforce or when they become a parent, because they're doing the same thing. They are planting, nurturing, feeding, growing. Whoops, went the wrong way there. And one more if we're lucky. What? Aha. So they have a pride in their achievement, and they really do. The ones who achieve and feel like they've got somewhere, they do not look for a reward. When you say, hey, that's great, and next time you'll do this, you see a huge smile, but they are ready to go further. And that idea of going further, of personal best, of progress, it's always about them compared to themselves. We're not marking them against other kids in the class. We're not marking them against arbitrary numbers that have been set up by the state system. We're assessing them by observing them, by watching them constantly. And they grow because they're looking at themselves instead of going, oh, I'm better at you than this. They're very competitive at this age, but we can have a lot of fun with that rather than making it part of their academia. We're looking again at individuals. Okay, quick breath. Sip of wine. Community. Community is very, very important to Montessori adolescents. Secondary schools, high schools tend to be big places. Lots of people, lots of things going on, and it doesn't generally have that idea of safety in terms of emotional, intellectual comfort. We want to give them a place, a community, a society where that happens with each other, as I said here, with animals, plants, the planet, with humans, with the community, whether it's, and the community includes their class, that's their first community. The school is their second community. And then it grows out to the suburb, to the city, to the country, to the world. We're expecting them to contribute to the community, because each effort they make is part of the community. It's not just about them now. They are, again, adolescents trying to learn about who they are, how they fit into the world. So their best efforts make a real difference there. The expectations come not from me, not from the teacher, not from marks or grades, come from their peers, from within, and from others in the community who are expecting them to deliver. We set up things that real tasks, real jobs for them to do. One of the jobs we're doing at the moment is with the local aged care centre. We visit once a week, and they think our kids are just extraordinary because they understand what we're doing, the kids understand what we're doing. We give them the opportunity to flourish, and they do it. Put them in the community. The community is much bigger than school. Yeah? And they need to interact with members of the public. Often when people come into our MAP class, they go, wow, they're so good at talking to adults. Of course they are, because we give them the chance. They're part of the adult world. You don't... School is the only place where people get separated into layers of age. Fortunately, Montessori breaks that. We've got 7, 8, 9 together. We've got 12 to 15. And I'm going to quickly diverge here. one thing that a lot of schools do is have special programs for Year 9 because there are so many changes, so many hormones, so many kids out of control. In the MAP classes, we have never had an issue with our Year 9s because they're in a balanced situation. They feel responsible. They understand what they should be doing. And they turn into role models without even trying to. And this is a picture from our tour that Victoria mentioned earlier, and the students have decided we have to go on tour again this year. I'm building up the strength. Collaboration, group independence, we do an enormous amount of group work because they need to learn how to function in society. They do have a huge amount of compassion. They don't have a huge amount of diplomacy. And collaboration comes and goes. So we have to take these things and give them a chance to balance them. Help feed their need to belong. Because they do. They want to be parts of social groups, but they're not quite sure yet how to live and work together. So we need to construct positive opportunities so that they can depend on each other and they can deliver. And they get reward from that. We need to continue from what's happened in cycle 2 and 3 with grace and courtesy into respectful behaviour. And that often gets lost in adolescence. Again, it's usually because of the brain change. It is not a deliberate thing. They are very self-focused. They are not trying to provoke us in general terms. They're not usually thinking about us because they're thinking about themselves. That's who they are. But inside they do have a real care about society, and we need to find the route to bring this out from inside them. We don't put it on them, we don't impose it, we allow them to develop it. We allow them to find the boundaries that they think should define their behaviours, and generally they are much tougher than we are about where they should go and what they should do. And they love the idea of punishment, which we have to keep talking them out of. But we're trying to allow them to make personal choices, to help them understand they need informed choices. They need to think about the information available, make smart choices. Social harmony is very important. They need to understand that each of them has needs. Each of them has issues and problems. And they do fight with each other. They do get, there's a backbiting goes on and social problems, but it's amazing to see if someone has an issue or a problem, the rush of support to them. Physical and emotional support in these classes is wonderful to see. We do ask for a contribution to wider society. As I said, our community goes beyond school. We need to make them aware that learning goes beyond school. Learning happens everywhere. We want them to work side by side with an increased number of adults. Here, this photograph was, we had, I think, 2 or 3 days warning that a group of, I think, 21 Singaporean students was coming to Melbourne on an art exchange, and they want to do art therapy. Why the hell not? First off I went, oh no, it's not going to fit in, and then I had to go, no, here is an opportunity, here's a chance. In the first half hour they barely spoke to each other. By the end of the day the image speaks for itself. And each experience you offer gives a different one a chance to take leadership and to learn skills. Once again, our play, and look, thank you for listening. I know it's a bit strange to listen to this talking on and on online, but since I took on this opportunity to become a Montessori teacher, I think I've grown more and more passionate. I know when I arrived back from the training I was bursting, but I still love walking to that classroom every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. That was fantastic. So, Alina is just going to check for questions. Anybody have any questions for Steve about his presentation? You can use the box on your panel.
Type questions into the chat space.
We're getting a couple of questions through. So Kirsty Freeman says, "Thank you, Steve. Your passion shines through."
Thank you, Kirsty.
Joe is asking, does MAP welcome students who do not have a Montessori primary education? And are there any particular challenges they might face coming from mainstream?
Now, we do welcome them. It is not unusual. Got anyone here? I think in this photo, I think our third year was the only year we didn't have people from a non-Montessori background. It is common throughout the world. Hershey Farm, which is what we all look up to as the ideal, has about a 50% ratio of students coming from non-Montessori backgrounds. If they have an independent desire to learn, there are very few issues. There are some things they need to learn along the way, the terms of grace and courtesy and the way we respect and the way we interact with adults. But we've had students come in from homeschooling, from independent schools, from Steiner schools, and they have come in almost seamlessly. We've had students come in from the wider school at Templestowe, kids call it mainstream, and I would say 3/4 of those that have come in seamlessly because they want to be there, they have an idea what it's going to be like. We do talk to them and their parents first off to get an idea, and we regularly give any students that want to do it, we give them a week's trial, let them come in, see what it's like, see if it is for them. And that allows us to observe them and, more importantly, them to observe us. I don't think we've turned anyone down yet that hasn't had a Montessori background.
So Joe's just asked a further question. Is there any evidence that MAP may or may not be suited to children with learning difficulties?
Yes, there is. It is. Montessori education in adolescence is very much geared towards student-driven learning, students who want to do it, want to achieve. It's tough for someone who is not ready to drive themselves, and that becomes tough for the class as a whole because we are expecting them to get out there and do it constantly, to go out to do the best you can. I'm not by any means saying they shouldn't be there, they shouldn't do it, but it is often seen, alternative schooling, including Montessori, is often seen as, hey, my kid doesn't fit in anywhere else, this will be for them. We do have very high expectations, and kids need to be able to rise to that in their individual ways. So some can. In this photograph, in any class, we probably have 1/4 of them with diagnosed issues. Learning problems, health problems, mental health problems, disorders. David Kahn from NAMTA, North American Montessori Training, recommends that no more than a ratio of 1 in 10 to 1 in 12 in a class of someone with a notable learning disability, because it is such an active and personally driven environment. I feel I'm sounding a bit negative here. I'm not, certainly not trying to. And yeah, we do have kids in here with a lot of needs and a lot of different needs, and I love each and every one of them for it. And yeah, we try and help everyone who's there.
So I think what you're trying to say, Steve, is every child needs to be assessed on their own merits, and it's not a generalisation that you could make.
Oh, utterly. There is no way you can generalize it or tick boxes. And yeah, some of the kids just amaze you, and almost all of them, almost all, break through, and they get to a point where they go snap, and you go, oh wow, they're there. There tends to be a dropout about halfway through year 8, second year, of kids who have discovered they don't have the drive to succeed.
Is this common around the world, Steve?
This is very common around the world. Yep, discussed it with teachers in umpteen countries, and yeah, it's the same. What's interesting, what happens at the same time is many of those who appear that they're not quite there, or they're not driven, discover that seed, that bit of germination, and suddenly become extraordinary. And we've had one this week in school, and he's just gone, wow, he's there. Yeah, he's got it now. We were worried about him, and now we just go, wow, look at this guy.
Brilliant. So Anna has said your presentation was great and very informative. Well done. Another pat on the back for you, Steve. And Darren has asked, how do you handle examination preparation for these students?
We don't. Why bother? They right. I talk to our students who have graduated, because at the end of year 9, they graduate. We have a little ceremony that they devise. At Templestowe College in year 10, they go into BCE and they have examinations. I believe that by then I have turned out, let graduate people who are very strong individuals and very independent learners. We've actually had examinations going on this week, and I spoke to one of our students who graduated last year, and she's, oh Steve, yeah, oh, I did so well in my maths, I was amazed. And they're ready. You don't need preparation for it. It is not it's not such an onerous task if you believe in yourself. If you can go in there believing that you can achieve, you don't need to spend years sitting down doing tests to get ready for it.
So Peter Hutton, the principal at Templestowe, has said that students can still choose to do voluntary exams. It's their choice, though. So maybe you can expand on the Templestowe scenario.
Yeah, they can. They're allowed to. It is student-centered. It's student-based. They can select to do exams if they want. There's a few of them in there that want to prove they're smart. We already know they're smart. They know they're smart, but this system has been inculcated in us for so long that we have to have numbers attached to how clever you are. We have to have numbers attached to how you're going to progress from one stage to another. We have to have numbers attached to how you're going to progress from secondary to university. great thing now is that universities are getting rid of those numbers. Universities have recognised that interviews and selection are a far better way to go. And I'm educating people now that will be looking for those numbers in 6 years' time, when those numbers will be way less important. It's changing quite dramatically in tertiary, but we're so used to it as a society to go, oh, no, you know, I got 90 in my exam. Wow. Yeah, did you learn anything? Yong Zhao, who is a world-renowned educationalist, is coming out to speak at TC on Friday. He was speaking at the Montessori Administrators Conference in Honolulu. When he was out last time, said, you know, wow, if you get 90 plus in your exam, that's going to be great. You can go home and tell your mum and your dad you got 90. And then what does it mean? He said, what have you done for the world? And just looked around at that point. What have you done? What have you achieved? What's important to you? Are numbers important to you? Or is your place in the world, your place in society important to you? I'm not a great believer in exams, you may have just got that. And yeah, look, our kids that have come out of the Montessori program over the last 3 years have done exceptionally well in the exams and in VCE. We have, we've got 600 kids at school now, just under 30 of those, so 1 in 20 Montessori kids. We have 6 school captains, 2 of those are Montessori, 1 in 3. They're impressive people.
I don't have any more questions on my panel, so if anyone's got another question, perhaps if you can type it in quickly. Otherwise, we might look at wrapping up. Actually, Ria has just said, great presentation, Steve. Do you think it will be possible in the future to have the map also in the VCE years?
Financially, it doesn't work in a government school situation. To do it in VCE years, there are so many VCE subjects, and we need each of those teachers to have some Montessori training, which is expensive. So parents would be paying a premium to have their students go through Montessori VCE, which would be delivered by the same teachers who will be delivering it for free to non-Montessori classes. And we don't believe that's financially sustainable. It works in independent Montessori schools. I can't yet see a way to make it work in a government school. But I can't yet see a way. We're going to keep looking. We've had our first government school conference, and we're going to keep doing the very best we can to spread this. Sometime, somewhere, we'll find a way.
Brilliant. Has anybody else got a question? I think that might be it, Steve.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
It's all right. I love it. I truly do. It's just, yeah. It's become
Fantastic
a very thing to me.
Well, then it comes down to me to, again, thank Steve for his great presentation this evening. And I can just imagine everybody sitting at their computers with their glass of red, clapping their hands for Steve. And I'd also like to thank everybody for showing up tonight and being part of our AGM, and spending some time finding out a little bit more about the Montessori approach in adolescence. We very much look forward to seeing you on a school tour at Templestowe College, at next parent information sessions, both at Templestowe College and Beechworth Secondary College, and look forward to welcoming you as families when you become part of the Montessori Adolescent communities in the schools that serve your Montessori community.
Absolutely. And just to drop, one of the important things there is, you are here as families. It is not, it's not just a kid in a class. It is a whole commitment, a whole family. And the more we know about you, the more you are involved, the better your kids will grow.
So thank you, and have a peaceful evening, and we look forward to crossing paths with you again in the future. Good night.
Good night.